The man raised his rifle to aim at a deer, but suddenly noticed a twisted human figure in front of him. He immediately sensed something was wrong, because people said a bloodthirsty creature lived in this forest. The father and son quickly ran to the watchtower behind them to hide. The man signaled his son to stay completely silent. Even so, heavy footsteps started echoing outside a few moments later. The man raised his gun and pointed it toward the sound. It was the first time he had encountered a monster while hunting, and he couldn't help feeling fear toward the unknown. The air was filled with thick tension, as if the creature would charge in at any moment. The monster outside turned around and walked away. Only after the sounds completely disappeared did the man slowly stand up to look around. But he didn't know that the wooden boards outside were now covered in claw marks. And worse, the deer had been gutted without anyone noticing, as the man continued observing. Only then did he finally relax. His son Blake curiously asked what that thing was, but the father didn't tell him the truth. He was afraid it would traumatize him. What he didn't know was that someday in the future, this creature would return to haunt Blake. 30 years later, the young Blake had grown into a man. He thought he would live peacefully in the city with his family. But one day, an email brought him back to the cabin in the woods. Blake's father had passed away, so he brought his wife and daughter to the mountains. On the way up, Blake ran into an old neighbor he hadn't seen in years. After learning the neighbor was also heading home, Blake offered him a ride, but just then, an accident happened. Luckily, the car was stopped by a large tree. The neighbor opened the door but fell to the ground. Blake told his wife to crawl under the car with their daughter, but just then, a series of low growls suddenly filled the air, and Blake saw the monster in the rearview mirror. Before he could react, a hand smashed through the car window. Realizing they couldn't stay there, Blake climbed onto the car roof, then helped his wife and daughter out. Fortunately, the old house was nearby, but again, the creature's growl echoed behind them.
Run, honey!
Just before it caught them, the family rushed into the house, but the monster had already reached the front door. The furious banging at the door made the whole family tremble, but Blake held the door shut with his body and kept the monster outside. After everything went quiet, Blake went down to the basement. He found his father's diesel generator and finally got the power back on. Though the danger was gone for now, Blake knew the monster would come back again.